Hi, it's Will from StormTheCastle.com, and here on YouTube you know me as Epic Fantasy, and this is my latest tutorial. This is how to make a medieval mace. This is a spiked ball mace. And in this tutorial I show you a bunch of different variations on how to do it. Like this one, we follow this one through. It's made out of foam, and the spikes are sponge for safety. That way it's safer. We don't want anybody to actually get hurt with this. And for fun, I'll show you a little bit about this one. That one's crazy. I love this one. This one's really got a 10-inch ball, and it's really kind of impressive. I love that one. That one would do some damage. Although, if it were real steel or iron, it'd be too heavy to even pick up. And if you don't have any of these materials, you can always make a mace with newspaper and masking tape, and then you add your little spikes to it. So I show you all of that in this video, but for the most part we follow this one, which is kind of a standard ball spiked mace. Thanks for watching my videos. If you're a subscriber, thanks for subscribing. If not, what do? Hit that button. All right, let's get started. Let's take a look at some of the materials here. This is 1-inch wooden dowel. I picked it up at a home improvement store for like $1.30, something like that. You can buy it in different lengths. This is the craft foam balls, and they come in different sizes. I got these at a craft store. I would imagine a place like Hobby Lobby has them. And they come, let me see, that's the 4-inch, the 5-inch. And then I spotted this one, and I was like, oh, I got to get that one and give it a try. This one's a 10-inch. And that's the one I used to make the large mace. I love that one. And now to make the spikes, I'm going to use this high density foam. It's a 1-inch thick, and you know I like it for this. It adds safety to the thing. So those little spikes, we don't want anybody getting hurt with those. And alternatively, you can use newspaper and masking tape to make the ball of the mace. And you can use a PVC pipe to make the handle. So, you know, improvise something. I'll teach you the basic techniques here on what to do and how to do it and how to put it all together. And then try to dig up some materials. So the first thing you do is take the handle and measure it out to 20 inches. That's what I did, 20 inches, and then I cut it. That seems to be about a good size for a mace. And then mark the styrofoam ball, well, the craft foam ball. Although it almost doesn't matter, it's pretty much the same all the way around. And then you can cut it out with a knife. A serrated knife works best, to about halfway. But if you have a drill, go ahead and drill it to the same size as your handle. In my case, a 1-inch drill there. And I drilled halfway through it. Now the more we have this attached to the handle, the better, because we want to avoid that thing flying off. We want it to be nice and tightly secured, the two pieces secured well together so it's safe when you're swinging it around. That's important. Do not use this thing if it's loose. So I added a whole lot of hot glue to it, and then I let the hot glue sit for about 10 seconds. That's because the hot glue can actually melt the foam if it's too hot. So use a low setting on your hot glue gun, and then let the glue cool off a little bit before it, putting those two pieces together. And if the foam melts, it could cause weak spots that could have the head of the mace come off, so we don't want that. So a lot of hot glue or some kind of other glue that will hold the two pieces together well. And notice how I didn't get rid of any of the hot glue, I just spread it around. The better the bond, the better. The larger the bond, the better. So now we've got the ball and the handle assembled. Now let's make ourselves some spikes. And the foam is 1-inch thick, so I cut 1-inch strips like this. Those strips are 1-inch wide. See, because we're going to make a pyramid out of these. And it takes 4 cuts to make our pyramid. I'll show you. 1 cut, 2 cuts, and now we have a triangle, right? And then you turn it sideways and you make 2 more cuts. And there we go. Now we have a nice pyramid, and that's I think the best shape for those spikes on the mace. So you make a bunch of those up. I think I made 7 or 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. Something like that. Now same thing applies. If you're going to use hot glue, test it first on that sponge. It may melt it. If it melts it, I'll show you an alternative. No, you could use a glue, but see if it melts it. And if it does, you might want to do this. Use a piece of wood to spread some hot glue, then let it cool for a few seconds first, and then apply it to your sponge. That way it's cooled down some, it doesn't melt the sponge, and then you attach it to the mace, like this, and in a random pattern. And it's odd because, you know, how you attach these makes a difference in how it looks. So you could try different experiments, like do a ring of them all the way around the equator of the mace. It'd be I think that'd be cool too. But I did a random pattern, and I think it looks pretty good. You know, a lot of this stuff is you can just improvise whatever you want. I have lots of leather lying around the house from this and that, pieces of this and that. So I cut myself a piece of leather and attach it to the handle like this. And notice it's 1 inch from the end of the handle, the butt of the handle. So then I just hot glued it on. Applied a bead. Wrapped it around. It did several wraps, 2.5 wraps, something like that. Applied another bead and then finish it off, and you know, improvise anything you want. You could just paint it, but the leather handle like that, or you could use vinyl or, you know, pleather or something, makes it more comfortable to hold, and it looks better too. Then I cut myself a strip of foam board to make a 1-inch metal band on the mace. And you can't really curve foam board around it like that, it won't look right. So if you cut the foam board in half like this, then you can actually wrap it around the handle nicely. And that's it. I did 2 bands, one at the butt of the handle and one up on the other side of the other end of the leather. And then I added some rivets using the hot glue gun. It's a nice detail. If you have a hot glue gun, add that detail. You'll be happy you did. So painting, I actually painted it a couple of times to try different color schemes that I liked. And I started by painting everything black, and it was okay because I thought it'd be real medieval looking, but it didn't seem to be quite right. Just wasn't. It didn't have. I don't know. It didn't look quite right. So after I painted everything black, and then I went and painted the metal bands silver. And I don't show you here, but I actually painted those rivets, those hot glue rivets, gold. And then this is the final touch that makes a big difference here. Is instead of leaving the spikes black, I painted those spikes silver. And they're made out of foam, so they compress. You can press on them, hit them against things, and they're fine, you know. Which is what I like. So there's a safety aspect to this. You don't really want to. It doesn't take much to hurt somebody with even cardboard spikes. So. And that's it. So that's the medieval mace. It looks good. It's a lot of fun. You can have this done in a couple of hours with just some basic materials. And here, one thing I wanted to say about this is I used 2 different size spikes. And that's one of the things that makes this big 10-inch mace look really good, is the 2 different size spikes. And for the handle, I used batting. Batting is like a thick material. And I wrapped it with masking tape. Let's take a quick look at, if you don't have any of those materials, let's take a quick look at making a mace with a masking tape and newspaper. See, I painted those spikes black. That looks good. I like it. It's almost like a, I don't know, it's almost like a cartoon or an anime mace. It's so large and the colors are so basic. But now, so grab yourself a bunch of newspaper and your handle and some masking tape, and then all you do is ball up the newspaper and you'll get a feel for it. And you want it to be pretty tight. So I did multiple layers like this, and then I inserted the dowel, the handle into it, because the same rule applies. You want as much contact as possible so the head of the mace doesn't go flying off when you're swinging it around. So it's got to be nice and tight. And then just keep taping it. You can add more newspaper, tape it some more, until you've got it the size and the way you want it. And I could have worked on this one some more to get it rounder, but I was like, that's pretty good. It's not too bad. Just to show you how it's done. And that's that. So there we go. We have made a medieval mace. Thanks for watching this video. If you're a subscriber, thanks for subscribing. Go to the web tutorial if you want to see more about this.